I'm going to start. Hey, welcome.
Thank you.
Everyone, wave. Get our group thing together. Not a huge group, but it's never too small a group that we can't sort of, become a full and formally linked together group. I like to do that by starting having some sort of interesting group activity. So everyone here, let's do the wave. We'll start on this side. And we'll go over here. You don't have to stand up, you just have to bring your hands up. Okay, ready? Let's go. There, and then that way. Okay, great, excellent. Okay, perfect. I'm David Barron. I have Eastern Oregon Hypnosis. It's a hypnosis center in Ontario, so I get to travel here once a week and do this meetup. The meetup is designed specifically to just talk about neurolinguistic programming, and along with that, hypnosis, which I get to do a lot of professionally. I've been doing it for about 20 years. So after I calculated 10,000 clinical hours of working with people, I said, okay, I don't have to count anymore. That's enough. Today's topic is on self-esteem and self-confidence. And so we're going to divide it up, and I just want to start with the first one, self-esteem. It's a pretty common, we hear about that a lot. When you think of self-esteem, what does that mean to you when you hear about it?
Yeah, I've just been recently reading about, so I have a pretty fresh definition on it. In my mind is when you have a high self-esteem, your actions are in line with your values, or your self-image is in line with your values. So the self-esteem is kind of the judgment part of who you are. When you observe what I'm doing versus what I want to be doing, if that's in line, then you have high self-esteem.
Okay, really good. Anyone else? When you say self-esteem, yes?
Like loving yourself.
Mm-hmm. Loving yourself. Right.
Confidence in yourself.
Okay, good. Okay, how I like to do this, I'm just gonna, again, let's hope I can write this legibly. Self-esteem, and I think it's S-T-E-M-E, okay. Or is it two?
E-M.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Okay, self-esteem.
What about self-aware?
Well, that's it. Let's just deal with self-esteem for now, okay? What I like to do when we talk about self-esteem is just forget about the self part. What does it mean to esteem? Okay?
I forget.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Esteem.
Admire?
Elevate.
Admire.
Elevate.
Elevate. Okay. When you refer to an esteemed colleague, what does that mean?
Recognized,
Revered or like looked up
revered,
to.
yeah.
Here. And he is a person of high esteem. We could always do a wiki Google it. For me, again, just
Okay.
gesture me where to
Okay,
go.
sorry.
Okay? For me, esteem means honor. Oh, hey, welcome.
Thank you.
Please have a seat. So, esteem means to honor. An esteemed colleague is someone who is honored, who you honor. A person of high esteem is someone who has gained various honors. So, now when we add the self part to it, what does that mean?
Honoring yourself.
Honoring yourself. Okay. How many of us can say we do that really well? I'm always challenged. It's always an ongoing effort. One of the ways that we do that is how we look at ourselves really determines our feeling toward ourselves. And for this moment, when you think of someone who you highly respect, someone that you hold in high esteem. Notice how you think of them, even the pictures in your mind that you have of them. And take a moment and just step out of that image for a moment. And now, think of how you see yourself right now. Just not on your worst day, not on your best day, but right now. There is always in our minds a way that we see ourselves, and that is something we don't consciously, intentionally do. It's just something that happens. How many of you have had a day in which you could say you felt beaten down? All right, a shared experience, okay? And for a moment, just notice, make a mental note of what you know your height to be if we stand you up against and measure your height. I'm supposedly about 6 feet tall still. I haven't been beaten down that much yet. But so imagine, just make a note of what your height is. Got it?
Yeah.
On that day, when you come back exhausted, when you have found yourself belittled, beaten down, frustrated, how tall do you feel on that day compared to your real height? And what would you say? Okay.
Kind of crushed, kind of pushed down.
Kind of pushed down, yeah. Ever been rejected from a romantic encounter? You could like walk through the door without opening it, just sort of slide. Yeah, exactly. So we don't always make those associations. We do, we feel it, but when we make the picture in our mind, I wouldn't be standing like this. I'd be standing something like this. And I'd probably be about that tall. So let's, for a moment, just make an inventory of how you see yourself right now, on this day at this moment. So close your eyes and just make a picture. Okay, when you got it, open your eyes. Okay. And would you say that that person is the height that you know yourself to be if you're measured? Okay, good. Okay. Now, do the same thing. Just imagine on your very worst day, you're exhausted, you've been frustrated, the energy's been dragged out of you, and just imagine that feeling for now, and then make a picture of yourself on that day. When you've got it, open your eyes, let me know. Okay, just want to go through everyone here, and I want you to give a comparison. Best day, or present day, and then worst day. How would you?
Like
What's
half
the-
the person.
Literally
Literally half the person.
shrunk by 50%. Okay? Chris?
That sounds reasonable to me because, yeah,
Okay.
that would be accurate.
Eric?
My worst day, I wasn't too tall because I was like laying there on the concrete sidewalk, just kind of like flattened out, kind of like a pancake. Right?
You weren't just not standing. You were laying down and
And I didn't want to get up.
Okay, accurate.
For me, it was not so much that my height had changed, but when on my good day, my posture's better, my
Okay.
head's up. And on my worst day, it's like I'm just crawling on my hands and knees and
Oh.
just like
Yeah. Okay.
no energy and just blah.
Dan?
Yeah, I was just like really small, like 2 feet tall.
I don't know your name.
Alicia.
Alicia. Tell us the difference between you now and you on your worst day.
I'd say not only small on my worst day, but also the posture thing. the
Yeah.
Making myself smaller.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just probably like 3 inches shorter.
Okay. 3 inches is still significant, yeah, yeah.
Flat on the ground.
Not bad, okay. All right, all right. Now, one of the neuro-linguistic programming is really it's basically a science, a way of measuring the ways that we internally represent our world. And there is something that is called our self-image, our personal representation of ourselves, and that's what we've talked about here, or we've sort of listed. And what you'll notice is your personal representation of yourself is not static. It is not one thing. It is in fact very dynamic. So I want you, what we're going to do is I'm going to have you partner up with somebody, and I always encourage you to pick someone you haven't worked with before. But partner up with somebody, and you're going to very quickly ask a couple of questions. You're essentially going to ask them to close their eyes and describe the image they see of themselves now. Not on their worst day, not on their best day, but right now. Okay? And if you can write it down, that's great. If you don't have anything to write down, that's okay too. Just try and remember it. And then I want you to switch. This shouldn't take more than 2.5 minutes per person. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that right now. Pay attention. I'm gonna repeat everything here. What you're going to do, person A is going to close their eyes, and person B is going to ask them to make a representation of their internal self right now. You're going to further ask of this person to describe the image as if it were out in front of them. It could be in 3D, it could be a flat image, a picture, it could be in motion, black and white, it could be color, how big is it, how tall is the person, is there a frame around it, all sorts of details as though it were something separate from you and you were looking at it. Okay?
Then I feel good.
Okay, have you got it? Has everyone got it?
Cool.
Okay. All right.
That's awesome.
Now,
That is awesome.
I want you to everyone, just follow along. And how many had really cool images? Or at least, how many had interesting images? Okay, interesting. Okay.
About this,
How many
I'll
had a
sit on the other
feeling
side of you.
associated with this picture that you saw of yourself?
Get in the lane. The camera?
A feeling? Okay. Let's go ahead and do this. Everyone close your eyes. Just follow my instructions really quickly. Make that picture. And now notice the feeling. And now take all the color out of it. Just see it in black and white. And notice how the feeling changes.
Wait, take all the color out and leave it black and white?
Yes.
What if it was only black and white?
Then that's fine. Okay. And in your case, add color to it.
Okay.
Okay? Okay, notice the feeling. When you've got the feeling and register it, just open your eyes. Got it? Okay. We changed one little thing about that. How did it feel different?
Darker, just like the emotion
Right.
got dark. Just
Right, okay. Now keep in mind that this is a very personal response you're having. Another person could take all the color out and say, "Oh yeah, I'm alive now." But I don't know if that would be very common, but it's a very personal response. And you added color to yours. What did it feel like?
More happiness.
Okay.
So I added color inside the same somewhere.
Okay.
More happiness,
Okay.
energy.
Very good. Okay. Now you're seeing what happens when you just take this internal representation of yourself. You're not even changing, the image of yourself. You're just changing one factor, whether there's color in there or not. So now I'm going to give you another instruction, which is go back with your partner and start to change. Everything that was there is the same, but you're going to change various things and see what feels the best. And that is going to be, you're going to see if adding color or taking away color feels it, changes it, dimming it and brightening it, making it bigger or smaller, pushing it closer or further away. See if you can make it 3D, so it's not just an image in front of you, you're part of a panorama. Okay? And I want you, your objective here is to coach the person through this so that whatever they're feeling with this image of themselves, they feel even better. Okay? And again, I'll give you a little bit more time. Go ahead and begin.
Thought of myself more as like.
Wow, I like those too.
Okay, have we got something?
At night is not necessarily.
Have you guys got
bad,
something?
it's Just like. either
Did you guys-
aspects
Yeah.
Did you guys improve it?
yourself. I have different situations.
Beautiful.
By taking it back to
Those
the
are
original
perfect.
thing.
That's
I
cool.
like
The dream
Okay.
color
Oh.
definitely does that.
imagine.
I'll ask you about that in a second. Okay, are you guys finished over here?
I love that.
All right.
That was such a
Yeah.
good-
You guys have it?
Yeah, we have it.
Okay. Dan? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about it. What did you change to make it better?
Imagine it in the sunlight.
Okay, brighten it up. Yeah, sunlight specifically. Okay. What else?
Out to deeper blue sky.
Okay, okay. Oh yeah, and
And sound.
intensify the contrast of color. Yeah, that's a good one. How about you guys?
Well, we didn't have a lot of time, so we did a lot of changing it to black and white
Black
versus
and
color.
white, bigger, smaller.
Those are fine. Those are
And
fine.
then
Yeah,
back to
totally
the
forgot
original.
about that.
I do
And
too.
like
I like
with
color,
me,
though.
it was when it was small, it took the emotion out, but when it was big, it was just like overwhelming.
Oh, so you had to get a medium size.
We made it from just the normal
Okay.
to, like when I visualize the scene, it's like I'm there looking at myself.
Yeah.
So if I try to make it bigger or smaller, I have to imagine, like I'm looking looking at a picture in front of me, but what is going on around, it's just black, I guess. And then when I make it big, I feel like I'm pushing it right up.
Okay.
I guess
Oh, when you're making it big, it's getting closer.
yeah, it's getting closer and it's overwhelming.
Okay, well, let's try this. Try this. Close your eyes.
Okay,
Go back to the picture.
okay.
I want you to push it back and make it bigger, as opposed to make it closer.
Push
Push the picture back and make it bigger.
Away from you,
further
yes.
away from me.
And then make it bigger.
I guess I don't understand.
Like you're looking at a surround sound.
Yeah, like it would be the image of you, but you grow like maybe 13 feet, and then
Oh,
you push
okay.
yourself back,
Okay,
so it's not close.
so I'm pushing the picture away.
Yes.
Kinda like on a 3D.
And
level,
making it
push
bigger.
away.
And making it bigger like a movie's, like
Yes.
movies.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, I get it, yeah.
Again, I don't know how it would affect
Yeah.
you. How does it feel?
Oh,
Inside.
yeah, that's different. It just makes it more powerful.
There you
Makes
go.
it more intense, yeah.
So you're able to moderate the overwhelm of
Yeah.
it being big. Excellent.
Okay.
Very good.
No, I understand.
Okay. Yeah, you don't have to change, you can change a whole bunch of little things. And you say you didn't have enough time, but what did you do?
Well, we did the same thing with mine, black and white, big and small. When I made it small, it felt far more vulnerable, which
Yeah.
was not improvement. When I made it huge, the heavy things I was carrying just weighed that much more. So returning to just regular size of the things we tried was the best,
You know, in the image, are you literally carrying things?
yes.
Okay. Okay, close your eyes. Keep those things the same and make yourself bigger. So only your size changes, not the objects you're carrying. And how does it feel different?
They seem lighter
Uh-huh.
as they're tiny.
Okay, great. Now, and what you're changing here is, again, only yourself in the image, how you represent yourself. Okay, good. Okay, you guys, what did you guys find out?
Mine was like really, I think spring inspired too with the sunshine color I added that Dan
Alright.
mentioned. So, and then very similar to Leanne's too, where it like got bigger, right? And it was intense, but I kind of really enjoyed that intensity, so I was just into it
Oh, okay.
and liked it.
Yeah. Yeah, people
So
will
I just kept
respond
it there.
differently to it being bigger and more intense. You know, someone who is sort of naturally an introvert may feel a little overwhelmed by it, but someone who's extroverted may feel energized by it.
Okay, yeah.
It'll vary from person to person. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so now let's do a little exercise. Go ahead and close your eyes. And I want you to go back in your memory to that time when you felt really beaten down. See what you saw, hear what you heard, feel what you felt. You're in that moment, ugh. Okay. Now, in this moment, feeling that way, go ahead and change the representation of how you see yourself to be that very positive, energetic, bright, strong perspective. And notice how you respond, how you entirely feel differently amid all the things that are in the environment that had beaten you down. When you've got that, just take a moment, really enjoy it. If you've got it really positive, feeling really resourceful, remember it, lock it in there. It's now a part of your memory. Take a deep breath, let it settle right in so you remember it. And when you're ready, come on back. Okay. Now, why did I do that? What would you guess? So that, yes.
Because that has affected our life for so many years.
Well, yeah, it has. You also now have a resource. Now, I'm not going to say it's good. It's not necessarily the easiest resource to remember when you're feeling beaten down, but when you're recognizing how downtrodden you are feeling, you can say, okay, I need to take a little break. I need to sort of see, I'm feeling maybe 4'2" right now, and I know this is not who I am, and I know I can feel better. Every bit of this is building a sense of control. Now, why would you do this other than feeling good?
To see the contrast.
Yeah, to see the contrast. This is, and remember what we said about esteem? It means to honor. This is a way of honoring yourself. It's a way of, in those moments when the environment is telling you something other than you should be respected, you get a moment to say, oh wait, this is not, I don't have to accept that. I can make that representation in my mind in which, regardless of what's in the environment, the people, the events, and the situations, I can see myself a little bit different. I can see myself stronger. I can see myself with some more resources. I can see myself as someone who deserves that esteem. All right? Okay, now, we just changed the pictures. So we also have a series of voices that are in our heads. How many people have found themselves belittling themselves? Good, yes. It's a common experience. What are the things you say?
Can't.
I can't do it. Yeah.
Should be better.
Should be better. Let's see, what are the things I say? A little self-disclosure here. I say, don't, you idiot. That's a common one. You idiot, you could do this. Why are you not doing that? Okay, so that's what I say. How about anyone else? Okay, well,
Imagine what other people are thinking.
oh, there we go.
Although
That's
I
always a good one.
Completely just made it up.
Yeah, yeah, why think of it yourself when you can imagine other people thinking of it? And what's interesting is there are like 7 billion people in the world. You are probably the only one thinking that thought about yourself. Oh my God. Like I have these memories of when I did the most stupidest thing. And I'm just like going over it in my head and I'm realizing, I was with 5, maybe 10 people, and I'm the only one that remembers that. And yet I'm making myself feel stupid about it. Okay, so, but the thing is we have silly and stupid things that we say to ourselves. if you're really wanting to put yourself down, imagine those words. How would you hear those words? Would it be a nag? Would it be a siren-y screech? Would it be a parental figure sort of coming down on you? Think of how you would hear it. Now, everyone's going to be different, but what's the very worst way you could hear these words being said to you? Yeah, from someone else. Yeah, for me it would be like imagining someone of authority, someone I trusted saying it. Yeah. Okay. So now, just imagine for a moment that you change that. It's the very same words. It says, "You're no good. You can't do it. No one likes you." Let's say it says those words. Okay. It could be, big resounding authority figure speaking from up there saying, "You are no good. You can't do it. No one likes you." What if you just change that and it's Mickey Mouse, he's standing about knee high, a little bit behind you, and he's saying, "You're no good. You can't do it. No one likes you." Right. How do you respond to that?
Knock 'em off.
You can't take it seriously. The words are the same. We just tweaked how it was said. So when you start hearing those voices in your mind, you can start playing with them. I recognize when I say something like, "You idiot," and then I'll laugh like, that's you idiot, that's silly. And I don't take it as an insult. I take it like, an encouraging, slap on the ass for me to do something. So just even that small change. So just imagine those very same words that beat you down. Imagine how they would feel if you heard them as a fading and giggling whisper. Do that in your head. What happens? Yeah, that goes away. All right.
Feeling
Yeah.
dissolved. It's kind of fun.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's talk about what you want to hear. What are the words that you would love to be encouraged by? I can tell you, mine are, "You can do it. You've got this. You're great. You're loved." Those are my words. What are yours?
Right now I've been focusing on being content and just happy in the moment. Last few weeks I've been working a lot on being happier, and now I'm just wanting to try to be content, so I keep
Okay, let's phrase those in commands.
it's I am feeling content. I am content.
I am content. All right. Okay. Okay. I like to focus on gratitude. If I'm grateful about something, I think I say, there's something great happening right now. Just find it. Shut up. Find it. That's always a good one. Now imagine those. So let's go ahead and get some other encouraging words. What are some other things that Eric contributed here? Let's get some other people. What are the things you would want to hear from someone who you cared about and respected?
You're amazing.
You're amazing.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I
All
like
right.
that.
What else? I love that one. I got to write that one
You're up for the challenge. I kind of
down.
like that.
You're up for the challenge. Very good. Okay. Others?
We love you.
Yeah. We love you. Absolutely. Okay.
You are lovable.
Yeah. You are lovable. That's good. Now, you got some good ones here. I'm not going to ask you to stop making up good things to say to yourself, but we've got some really good ones right here.
I trust you.
I trust you. That's right. Imagine if you trusted yourself. Whoa. To do something. Yeah. Okay. Now, how do you want to hear it? You want to hear it from a resounding, strong, caring authority figure whom you respect. What is that voice like? How would it say it to you?
Like Oz from The Wizard of Oz.
Like Oz, yes. Like the Wizard of Oz.
Negative.
You know, mine is James Earl Jones or Morgan Freeman. You know, some voice that has some real gravitas to it, you know, and it says it with authority, and it says it like a statement. It doesn't say, "You can do it." No, it says, "You can do it. You are loved." It doesn't say, "You're loved." No, not like that. Okay? So now, let's take a moment. Close your eyes. And start to hear in your mind the words you want to hear. Just repeat them in your mind. The words that would give you encouragement. And with those words, go ahead and modify them in whatever way is going to make it even stronger. Maybe it's a voice of authority, someone you respect. Maybe it's a voice of someone you know. Maybe it's just a strong, resounding voice that speaks with command or even whispers with passion to you. But just continue to hear those words and make whatever change that you need to so that you really hear the voice that has the most meaning, that gives you the best feeling. When you've got it, open your eyes. That was fast. Good. You figured it out. Okay. Tell us about your voice. What was your voice?
My voice was Oprah.
Fine. Yeah,
She's very motivating to me, so I guess that's why it
Excellent.
popped in.
I could understand that.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be my personal, but I can imagine it being a lot of people's. Eric.
My voice is kind of like a mix with Tony Robbins and your voice.
Oh, that's right. You've talked yes.
But then I was taking it, I was going like, I was trying the new thing, I was like repeating it in my own voice after, so I hear it in that voice and then like say it in my own voice, the same thing. Instead of like you are and then like I am, and seeing how that was kind of interesting.
How about you?
It's like angelic, I don't know, the voice, whispering,
Yes.
you are worthy.
Yeah. A soft, loving, passionate,
Yeah.
angelic voice. That's as motivating as any others. Absolutely. Very good. And,
Yeah, I kind of have a Morgan Freeman type voice. It's what it reminds me of. You know, when he narrates the Shawshank Redemption.
right.
What's that?
Right. The Shawshank.
Yeah. And because it's kind of like, you know, that was kind of a chaotic or a difficult situation, but he kind of made it like, I don't know, something you like wanted to observe.
Right.
And so life is kind of difficult, and so that kind of associates with like, you know, being able to get through life and deal with life.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like that.
It's a mixed voice of my mother and Darla.
Very good. Very good.
And what did you
My
say?
mother's read a lot, prays for me.
What was it she said?
I don't know. It's just whatever she say, I can feel it.
Yeah, it's the quality of the voice that has the impact. So now you can imagine that voice saying anything you want and really feeling it. Yeah. How about you?
I picked James Earl Jones.
I love that one.
He has such a beautiful resonant voice.
Yep.
He does.
Agreed.
I actually chose my own voice in my most powerful, confident state
Mhm.
that I've been before, that I haven't been for a while, trying to get back to that state. And when I remember that time and I use that voice, it takes me back to that feeling. And so when I use those powerful statements in that voice, it's like self-empowering, it's because it's about myself. So
When I elicit this information from people, I find, and this may or may not apply to you, I find those people who are artistic, creative, and independent, they say their own voice, usually, because they don't like authority. They want to be the authority, and that's entirely understandable. Okay, now here's another modification. Why does it have to be just one voice? Why don't you just have a chorus? Why don't you have a freaking theme song with you, you know? There was I think I mentioned this one time before, there was a commercial of this, I don't know what the commercial was about, but it was this young fellow applying for a job. And he had behind him a guy with a boombox and a bunch of people cheering him on. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, what would that be like if in your mind you had a chorus of people you trusted, respected, and who you loved and loved you in return, and every one of them was supporting you. Now here's my question. We have those, don't we? I mean, we have people in our lives that are like that. I mean, they could certainly be part of the chorus. We have people we remember, whether they're with us or not, they can be part of the chorus. If you're musical, you could write your own theme song. Or you can just borrow, I always like the Olympic theme song, that's always a good one. So, yeah.
I was gonna say, I've had thoughts of like in the morning, when I need to get up and get out of bed,
Yeah.
the Rocky theme song.
Yes.
That's the same one that comes to mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
I love that one.
Okay, now, it may or may not be obvious. I'm pretty comfortable speaking in front of a group. I've been doing it a long time, so that's become pretty natural. When I started doing it, one of the things that I would do mentally for myself is I would imagine my personal representation of myself in the context of speaking to a group is I was 40 feet tall, I was sitting cross-legged, and everyone else was sitting around me like a campfire, and that's how I was speaking to them. And they were like a bunch of little kids at a campfire. And that made it so very comfortable. It made me, like all the people I'm with. And, you do it enough times, I don't have to think about that very much, but that just made it easier for me. I do know that if you want to get really uncomfortable public speaking, it's pretty simple. You imagine everyone looking at you, not blinking, and their heads are vibrating. And they're staring at you. That gets uncomfortable. So there are ways of messing.
That'd be funny. Little bobbleheads. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that'd be hilarious.
Well, yeah. And some people say, well, you imagine everyone naked. Yeah, maybe not. That doesn't work very well for me. So, again, depending on your situation, you can modify your response by thinking of how you see yourself. Do you have any questions about this? Okay. Why don't you just do a little physical, mental, emotional inventory. How do you feel right now? How do you feel compared to an hour ago before we started? Better?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty devious, isn't it? Yeah. What would happen if you don't have to spend an hour doing this. What would happen if you just spent time, a moment, you're in the bathroom, doing what you do in the bathroom and nothing else, you don't have your phone in your hand or you put it down, and you just do this in your head. Or you park the car and you decide, okay, how do I want to see myself? And you do it in your head. And what you're doing, the subconscious mind is incredibly powerful. It makes change, it's massively impressed by effort. And if you just put in a little bit of effort on a regular basis, it starts to go, oh, this is really cool, I can do this. You make it a habit, it becomes just a part of what you're doing. All right? Questions? Comments? Okay. I want to move to the other part. I have to erase this. And confidence. Okay. So when you hear the word self-confidence, what does that mean to you?
Feel
Being
like you
able
can
to do what you
or
want.
accomplish whatever you want.
Okay, good.
Just being confident in yourself, being tall.
Being tall, okay, yeah, there you go. Well, again, we can take the self out of it. What does confidence mean?
Self-assured.
Let's take the self out of it. What does confidence mean?
Assurance.
Assured.
Assurance. Yes, assurance, that's a good word. I actually use the word certainty. Certainty. It's a security of what you know. So, in other words, self-confidence is being secure in what you know about yourself.
Like confide is like a trust too, isn't it?
Trust,
Like
yes.
when confidence is confide, right? To
Yeah.
confide is to maybe tell somebody something you're confiding,
Right. And yes, that would be a trust.
to trust.
So it means to be self-confident means to trust in yourself. Okay? How many can say that we have this down, this self-confidence thing?
Side comment, but
I do not. Yes, go
I
ahead.
find it really funny that I'm working on my confidence almost daily, and I can't even describe what confidence means, right? Like how am I even effectively working on it if I don't know what it is, right?
Oh, good point.
I appreciate the words you threw out there. I'm just starting
Oh,
to
good.
find
Yes,
that.
yes.
Good, good. That's a good point, that's a good point. I mean, we sort of recognize.
Self-confidence would be self-trust then, right?
Yes, yes,
Believe
Trust
in
in
yourself and that you trust yourself to move forward
Right.
with whatever you're wanting to accomplish or do.
that's it.
I believe that a person, even if they have self-confidence, that that's something you have to continuously work on. That is not something
Yes.
that you have and it stays with you. You have to do this all the time.
Yes, I agree, I agree.
Trusting and
I
not
wanna
worrying
get into
about
that.
making mistakes and just doing something, taking risks and putting yourself out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, thinking in terms of confidence, it means to have a sense of trust, a sense of assurance, a sense of certainty about who you are. Now, there we got to figure out, okay, who do we want to be? That's an interesting question that we're asking ever since we started to realize we're not our parents and we're separate from our world, from the world around us in some way. Who do you want to be? Okay. One of the things I think that comes to mind here is, Dan, you said something earlier, we were talking about self-esteem, and you talked about meeting up with your values.
Yeah,
Right. Elaborate on that because it's a point I want to talk about.
all right. Yeah, so again, kind of got the idea from the book Transforming Yourself by Steve Andreas. And yeah, maybe an example he gave in there that was pretty good was there was some guy who had been caught and was in jail, but at one point in time he was a hitman for the mafia. And it was kind of illustrating how, you know, an extreme example of somebody who still had self-confidence or self-esteem, I mean, because he described himself as like, even though he was breaking the rules and the laws of the country, he described himself as someone who was like cleaning up the vermin of the world, and he had a high self-esteem of himself. So,
Okay.
just an extreme example of that concept. Like,
Okay.
some of us would probably feel really bad, or most of us, if we killed someone else. But this guy viewed himself as a hero. So his values were whatever it would have taken to
Yeah.
view himself as a hero who cleaned up the vermin of the world by killing them. So,
Okay.
so yeah, that's just kind of like, yeah, your values, whatever they are, if you live in
Yeah.
harmony or in integrity,
Right.
then you will have a high self-esteem. That was the
Okay,
concept.
very, yeah, if you live up to your personal values, you will have a high self-esteem. Okay, now, the question is how to do that. It does take a certain amount of confidence and certainty in yourself. As I said earlier, the mind, the subconscious mind, is incredibly impressed by effort. By not just trying something, but trying and doing it. It really doesn't even have to be much. There's an incredibly powerful lecture that was done to, I think, a graduating military academy by the director or the head or the four-star general who's in charge of the Navy SEALs. And he basically said, you want to be successful, make your bed in the morning. Just start your day with one objective that you can accomplish. Make your bed.
I listened to that, that was so powerful.
It was.
That was
Yeah.
super good.
And he made a great argument. You know, making a bed is not going to improve the world. But you're going to start your day knowing you made a decision to do
Accomplished it.
something
Accomplished it.
and you did it. Okay. With that understanding, what would happen if you started to make decisions like that, even if they were small like that, and set out to do them? Turn it off.
What speech was it that you were referring to?
Um,
Like a talk on,
It's
or?
on Facebook.
It was on Facebook.
Yeah, it was on Facebook.
You can find it,
was
you can go,
super
Make
good.
your bed.
Navy SEALs, make your bed.
Make-
That'll
okay,
be
make
the,
Yeah.
yourself got it.
There you go. It'll pop up.
yeah, it'll pop up.
No, I've seen it too, but I forgot what it was called.
And
Super good.
Yeah.
Yeah, super.
so, if you want to build some self-confidence, set a series of objectives. And they don't have to be big. They just have to be things that you have to apply effort to. Now, as you do them and you find out you can do more things, an interesting thing happens. We start off, imagine just an outline of my body, okay? We start off and this body is the only thing I have control over. You know, I can scratch my nose, I can stand up, I can move from one direction to another. But as I start to set goals and get control of more and more things, that level of control, that bubble around me gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So every time you start to make objectives, goals, plans to do something, and accomplish them, your ability to influence the world, your confidence in your own ability increases more and more and more. There's a saying from, it's used in the occult, alchemy, and I've heard it in Wicca too. It's to wish, to dare, to will, to keep silent. Is anyone familiar with that one? Okay. It's 4 steps, and it's so much more profound than I ever imagined. It starts off to want. You want to do something. You may have an objective to get out of bed. You may have an objective to find a loving and supportive spouse or build a business. But it starts off always as a want. Okay? The next is to dare. When you dare, you face the challenge head on. You decide, essentially, when you dare. And you're deciding to go after that. The third part is to will. And will is an amazing thing. This building, at one point, was nothing. It was just a plot of ground. There was no ground. There was no building here. And it took someone a quality of will to actually build it. Has anyone here ever been in construction? Okay? If you were to build a house on your own, that would take a certain amount of will, wouldn't it? Okay? Well, the construction people, they have that will, but they also have resources from people around them. They set out to do it. and it gets done. And each time you do those first 3 steps, to want, to dare, to will, you're building up that ability to reach out and influence the world. And I would say, as you're doing it, you're feeling much more secure, much more confident in your skill and your ability. Questions about this? Observations? All right. So what I would recommend is just think about, I mean, you could do it based on things you want to do, and those are great because when you set out to want, to dare, to will, to do something you want, at the end, you get something done, and you get something that you want done. But I'd also recommend you just set some arbitrary things to get done, to will to do, even if it's something stupid like, I'm going to fast today, which may or may not be stupid depending on your values, or, at 3 o'clock every morning, I'm going to set my alarm, step outside in the dark, take a deep breath, come back in and go to sleep. That's a stupid thing, but to do it, it takes some will. And at the end you say, I did it. Okay, I guess I can do that. So start making a list of the things that you want to, that you would dare yourself to do. All right? Yes?
A good way of doing that is maybe writing a list of fears.
Fears.
Yeah, where does
Maybe
it go? Yeah.
5 or 10 things of your fears. And one day, each day, go through it. I did this at one time. It's very empowering.
Okay, that reminds me, you're familiar with G. Gordon Liddy? Okay. He's a radio talk show host. He's a Watergate, went to prison for Watergate. He wrote a book called Will. And he talks about when he was a little kid, he was petrified, he was terrified of lightning. He was just petrified. And he saw a storm cloud coming in, and he knew there was going to be lightning. So what did he do? He climbed a tree, he belted himself around the tree, and he screamed at the lightning until it passed. Okay? Okay, so, and also when he was in prison, he was being confronted by a bunch of white supremacists, Aryan Nation probably. And he just said, okay, get a candle, get a lighter. And he got a lighter and he just held his hand over it, burned the hell right out of his forearm. He just held it over there until they started to get sick and pulled the lighter away. They didn't mess with it from that point on. Okay, I'm not recommending you do any of those things. But they do act as examples of will. Okay? The last part of that quadrat of phrases is to keep silent. And there's a tendency amongst people that in popular culture, which I think is arguable, that you have to share your goals with people. You have to share your ambitions. In doing that, you're now accountable to what you tell people. But it's been measured and documented that if you set a high objective, there's pressure that you are building within yourself. And as soon as you tell somebody, that pressure just goes shh. I don't know why it does it, but you just don't feel the motivation. It doesn't mean you can't get it done, but by sharing your big lofty goals with people, for whatever reason, there's a tendency you feel less motivated to do it.
It's easier to stay
Yeah.
focused.
I was going to say, as you're talking about that and describing it, I feel that and I agree. But I've heard in other areas that, it says do share it, so then you feel accountable.
Yeah.
But, and this is the first time I've heard this concept, but I think I like it actually.
Yeah.
Because I see what you're saying of it does drain that
That makes sense.
Yeah.
something.
Accountability is, I think, a very useful thing if it is a team effort. Okay? Because everyone knows their place. I mean, you're not keeping it secret you're going to do it. In fact, you're under pressure to do it. And there, I think accountability is really important. If it's an individual goal and objective, I'm not convinced sharing it helps a lot.
Yeah, I was just gonna add to that, that I think it helps you to stay focused when you're not
Mhm.
telling a bunch of other people, because then they're coming back, oh, how's that thing going, or whatever, you get distracted, like, oh, I think I've got,
Right.
they wanted to put their input, or maybe even to, oh, that's never gonna work out.
Right. You could just as easily get deflated by their
Yeah, it's
discouragement.
just better just to keep
Yeah.
it to yourself, and just, that way you can focus and just go after it, not worry about all this other chitter chatter from the sidelines.
Right. Now, just imagine you set an objective. And there was a time when I started writing some books, and I shut up. I said, I know what I have to do. Don't have to tell anyone about it. In fact, I published it without even telling people about it. What was fun was not sharing that I published those books with people. Like I have a really cool secret that I'm the only one privy to. And I felt really good. And, so I kept that secret for a long time. So think about that, about what the strength is of keeping silent about something. In occult rituals and literature, as you do some sort of magical act with an intent, the instruction is to forget you even did it. Don't just not talk about it. Don't just keep silent, but just erase it from your memory so you have nothing conscious that will ever obstruct it. That's one of the theories of magic, anyway. I'm not a sincere student of magic, so don't ask me occult questions. Okay? All right? Any questions? Does anyone need to take a break?
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a break. Come back in 5 minutes.
Oh, maybe not, they're
Okay.
running when it was.
Okay, so our theme has been self-esteem, self-confidence. You have some tools here. I want to encourage you to use them. Use them. Make it one of your objectives. You maybe have to slap a note on the mirror or whatever's right across from you from the bathroom while you're using it. Just make a point to use these things and notice the difference. Okay, 20 years I've been doing hypnosis, so I want to offer you guys some really good hypnosis advice. I used to spend maybe a good 20 minutes with every client just telling them about hypnosis, so the end result is they just do what I tell them and they have a really good result. But I figured out I could reduce that down to about 10 seconds by saying, just follow my instructions, okay? You get a good result. It'll be great, okay? So if you would just get in a comfortable position. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes. Take one more slow, deep breath. When you exhale, just let every bit of the world fall away. Good. And there's a wonderful thing that happens when you just focus, when you just pay attention, which is as you pay attention more and more and more, the other things of the environment just begin to disappear. And so as you just continue to focus and go deeper, you feel better. And the deeper you go, the better you feel. The better you feel, the deeper you go. So for this moment, just focus your attention toward the eyes and the eyelids. So focus now totally on the eyes and eyelids. Put all of your attention to the eyes and eyelids. And for this moment, for right now, just pretend, imagine, just suppose that you have taped the eyelids shut, and they are sealed together. They are locked down. They are sealed so tightly. They're locked so securely that you know no matter how hard you try, you know that they are simply going to stay closed. And if you have to, go ahead and prove it to yourself. Just for a second, you could test it, but stop and just go even deeper, so focus even more, enjoy it, feel even better. In a moment I'll count from 3 down to 0. With every count, go 10 times deeper. With every count, just focus 10 times more enjoyably. So starting now with 3, go 10 times deeper. Feel even better. 2, deeper still. And focus even more enjoyably. 1, 10 times deeper. Feeling 10 times better, now go all the way, 0. And starting right now, any sound, any voice you hear, either inside or out, just makes it easier and easier to focus only on my voice and to follow my instruction even easier. Anything that you feel, either inside or out, makes it easier and easier to focus only on my voice and to follow my instructions even easier. Nothing I say or do can disturb or distract you. Whatever I say just instantly becomes your experience. So what I say you think in that moment, think that thought. What I say you feel, bring forth that feeling. What I say you know. What I say you believe. What I say you can do, you can do. And starting now, every breath just guides you deeper. So with every breath, just continue to feel better and go deeper and deeper. Just like that. I want you to just imagine in front of you is a door. Now in a moment I'll have you step through that door. You'll be in a very, very interesting, very fascinating room. So reach out and open that door and step through, and as soon as you enter it, you notice that the room has only in it 2 chairs facing each other, right in the center of the room. And so you walk to the center of the room and take that first chair and sit in it. As you look to the other half of the room, there's a door, just like the one you entered. In a moment, that door is going to open. And you're going to see a person who is the very most important person in your life. That door opens and you now see yourself step through. And this exact you now walks to their chair, the one facing you, and sits in it. And you are now eye to eye with the person who has been there all this time. You're going to now begin a conversation. You're going to talk with this other you. And first of all, you're going to tell them all the ways that they disappointed you. All the ways that they held you back. All the ways that you know they could have done better, but you're also going to let them know that you know they were doing the best they could with what they had. So take this moment now to engage in that conversation. To tell that other you exactly what it is that you want them to know. The ways they disappointed you, the ways they let you down, the ways they could have done better. And then I want you to tell them that you know that they were doing the very best that they could. With the information they had, with the experience they came from. Let them know that you understand, and you do understand. Now I want you to tell that other you exactly how you want them to behave from this time forward. You are going to give that other you the encouragement that you have always wanted. You're going to speak to them with the words and with the tonality and with the strength that you know you will respond to. Tell them all the things that they need to hear, that they're good people, they're strong, that you care about them, you love them. Tell them what you're going to now demand of them in doing better. Make it as passionate, as caring, and watch them as they listen, as they absorb, as they transform. Continue that conversation as long as is needed. As you continue that conversation, you're now going to give them the information that they truly need to know most. Let them know that you value them. You care about them. You love them. You honor them. You will promise from this time forward to do only the very best for them, and you demand the same in return. And watch them agree. When you've done that, you both stand now, facing each other, looking in the eye. You can embrace and let them know in that embrace how much you truly, truly care and promise to always cherish and value and respect them. In that embrace now, let them just begin to melt into your heart, where they will never be lost, where they'll feel that strength. When you've done that, once again, in that room, this time by yourself, but you are not alone. So you can now step out of the room through the door you entered. And as you close the door behind you, you see off in the distance a very beautiful, round zero. Focus now on that zero. Put all of your attention to that very beautiful, round zero. In a moment, I'll count from 5 down to 0. And with every count, when I begin to count, you begin to move toward that 0. When I reach 0, you reach that 0. You pass through it, and into the most amazing and the most incredible and most wonderful experience you could ever imagine. You really want to go through that 0, so focus on it now. Focus totally on it. 5, you're moving toward it. You want to get to it. You want to get through it as quickly as possible. 4, you're feeling anticipation. It grows stronger and stronger as you get closer and closer. 3, you realize that what is through there is even more amazing and more incredible than you ever could have imagined. 2, you're getting closer. You're feeling every part of you now wanting to get through there. 1, you're almost there. You're so close. 0, pass through it now and just let it wash over you and through you, just like waves are passing through your body and through your mind. And with every breath, you feel an incredible wave pass through you, and you feel even better. As a wave passes through you right now, anything that you see is so beautiful and so amazing. Another wave passes through. And with it, every sound is so beautiful, it is like music. Now another wave passes through. And every feeling, every emotion becomes pleasure and joy. And another wave passes through you, and every taste and every smell is so satisfying. As you focus even more, you feel even better. So just continue to go deeper, feeling even better. And deeper still, feeling even better. And deeper and deeper and deeper. Starting right now, the person that you see every time that you look in the mirror is a person of strength. You see a person who is loving and caring, who is loved and cared for, and who is beautiful inside and out. You know that's true because you are that person. You are a person of strength. A person loved and loving, beautiful inside and out. That person that you see when you look in the mirror is a person of value, a person of esteem, a person of honor, and a person of worth. And you know that that is true because you are that person. You are a person of worth, a person of importance, a person of respect. Take a moment now to let this just settle right into your very being. Let it find that place right in your soul, right next to the center of who you are. It will never be stamped out. It will never be removed. So in a moment I'm going to count from 1 to 5. At the count of 5, you'll return back, refreshed, energized, feeling absolutely wonderful. Starting now with 1, all the relaxation moving from your body. 2, energy moving into your body. 3, take a deep breath. Inhale very deeply. 4, your chest is clear, your throat is clear, your sinuses, your head, your mind is clear. And 5, eyes open, wide awake, feel great, feel wonderful. How you doing? Good? Excellent. Okay. Try and do this every Sunday. Someone's here.
Person from the office.
So try and do this every Sunday. So if you keep tuned to the meetup, and let's see who shows up, and bring. Okay. As you guys know, I don't charge for this. Some meetups do have a fee. I do travel here from Ontario. If I do take donations, I'm very grateful for them. You're not obligated to give me anything, but if you can, I appreciate it, of course. And I have some books here as well. I'm going to hang around and talk with you because you're here, you're not somewhere else. That's my tagline. And so I appreciate you making that sacrifice to be here, and thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks, Sarah.
Good.